Okay, there are three things that I love talking about. Fallout 76, Todd Howard, I can't remember the last one, but that's okay. What an opening, everyone! There's been some exciting things that have been happening in the world of video games in terms of the Xbox now officially acquiring Bethesda, and with that comes some exclusivity clarification, as well as Todd Howard saying some stuff on Fallout 76. All this and more after the drop.
Oh, dear God, no!
Just realised that my top is actually a bit dirty. But you know what's not dirty? The Laymen Gaming PC, baby! It is the fetchest, most coolest PC you can possibly get, the LAMON GAMON. Check it out now. I've partnered up with Apex Gaming PCs to get the coolest, the fetchest, the sexiest PC you possibly could ever want. On top of that, on the 19th of March, they're also releasing laptops. So if you want to look really sexy at a cafe, you can now. Or maybe at the gym. People bring their laptops to the gym or to the club, okay? Dancing while surfing the web. Check them out. I do actually use the Apex Gaming PC, the LAMON GAMON, to do all my actual editing. The entire episode is actually edited on that rig. So check it out. It does help the channel. Love you, appreciate you. Back to the news. So as you know, Bethesda was purchased by Xbox about 6 months ago. But within that time, there's a lot of red tape to get through in terms of just making sure everything's smooth sailing for the actual acquisition. And on top of that, you need to go through regulatory bodies and governments to make sure everything's approved and everything's all good in terms of there's still fair competition in certain parts of the globe. So that all had to kind of happen. That's all done now. And now Bethesda is under the umbrella of Xbox.
I could be a friend to you.
In a blog post on Xbox Wire, Phil Spencer announced that the acquisition of Bethesda software, including 8 studios, has been completed. These studios include Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. And that is huge news. I mean, we've already covered it, but to see that actually go through now, the amount of IP now that Xbox has access to in terms of exclusive access is pretty powerful. Things like Doom, Skyrim, Wolfenstein Youngblood, come on now.
These Nazi assholes did not expect the Blazkowicz sisters.
Totally, dude.
Oh, terrible, just terrible. You know, they seem to get worse every year.
And don't forget, the Fallout 76 has also been on there for some time too, so check that out ASAP.
Garbage.
But when the merger was actually taking place, a lot of people had a lot of questions. In terms of exclusivity with Xbox, are we still going to see games on PlayStation 5 or Switch? Because hey, they did spend $7.5 billion. They want to make sure that they get their money's worth. Well, today we have a little bit more clarification on that. Phil Spencer said, obviously I can't sit here and say that every Bethesda game is an exclusive, because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go and support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities and will continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there may be either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building, and the creative capability we'll be able to bring to the market for Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been for Xbox after we're done here. Okay, so what do we know here? Fallout 76 Day 1 was a complete scam, and we all know. Xbox is going to continue to publish games on PS5 and Switch and the like that either contractually or even just the populations are so large on certain platforms for certain games, they want to continue to support those games because they know it's in the best interests of Bethesda, and it's of course then in the best interests of Xbox. But it's also clear that Game Pass and exclusivity is the name of the game going forward for as much as they possibly can do. And that does make sense to me. If you're going to spend $7.5 billion, you kind of want to corner the market as much as possible with Bethesda games. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be a great thing for a lot of PlayStation 5 players. I understand that. But in terms of a business model, this doesn't come as a surprise to me. And I'm sure for a lot of people, this isn't a surprise to you either. And if Game Pass is in fact the future or going to be a big part of the future of Xbox, they want to make sure that the value proposition for Game Pass is as strong as possible. And let's be honest, Game Pass is arguably one of the best products that you will find in gaming now in terms of bang for buck and the value proposition that you actually get for it. I mean, there are more games now on Game Pass that most people would finish in a 5-year period. I mean, it's just powerful stuff what they're doing with Game Pass. So in that department, I do feel like Xbox is doing a really good job there in delivering value with Game Pass. And on top of that, you do get to play Wolfenstein Youngblood now. On top of the commentary that Phil Spencer had made at this roundtable event with other bigwigs there, just like Todd Howard had something to say also in terms of the Fallout 76 saga and how bad it really went. Yesterday, during a roundtable discussion between Xbox and Bethesda, Todd Howard said when Fallout 76 launched, the litany of issues we had, and we had let a lot of people down, and, well, there was very little we didn't screw up, honestly. Now, we had seen him make some sort of commentary around this in 2019, when he came out and said, look, we know the game's a little bit bad, but we'll ship it anyway, because most live service games are like that.
Everybody in. Here you go, pay us.
He's openly admitting that he had let so many people down, and that they had made pretty much every mistake they possibly could along the way, of which we've seen now, of course, that it's just really led to them just having a huge fallout that they have to fix now, pun intended. Todd Howard's commentary also comes at a timely manner, in my opinion, where it seems now because they're shielded under the Xbox banner now, and now there's a reset button, potentially he wants to just be a little bit more open and honest about what actually happened throughout the whole Fallout 76 development and release. I feel like the alliance that we're actually seeing here between Bethesda, Todd Howard, and of course Xbox benefits on both sides greatly. Number one, Todd Howard and Bethesda do need to rebuild their brands a lot. At this present moment, Xbox desperately needs as much IP as possible. We know they've gone on a spending spree to try and get as many developers on board as possible. They're trying to strengthen the exclusivity offer to current Xbox owners or potential buyers in the future. And as I said before, the reset button that this company now gets to have, Bethesda, I think that's valuable, and it's an opportunity for them to try and now re-enter the market under the banner of Xbox. And hopefully they can change their ways. With Xbox at the helm, they hopefully can, direct Bethesda towards a more pro-consumer approach, of which we haven't seen much of recently. For example, like Fallout First, I mean, that was horrendous. They knew it was a terrible product, yet they still tried to milk it and make people pay monthly for that garbage. And with this acquisition, hopefully Xbox can get more people to sign up to Game Pass or buy Xboxes. Because ultimately, Sony is winning the war now. Like, I know people don't love to hear that if you have an Xbox, but they have a more compelling offering in terms of exclusives. But today is going to be one of those days where a lot of people are going to start looking at Xbox and going, maybe I'm going to look at an Xbox in the future, because a lot of exclusivity stuff is going to happen now in the coming weeks, months, and years. And I think that's going to be pretty powerful stuff, because the more that Xbox can actually compete with Sony, the better it is for us consumers. It really is. So, exciting times ahead, guys. We'll have to see what happens. Let's just see if Todd Howard can rebuild his brand and bring out Fallout 69. That's the best joke I had to finish with, guys. That's all you get here. That's the quality that you get to finish with here. Alright, guys. See you guys later. Laymen out!